Is the passport-free Schengen area at risk? Germany has announced that it is tightening controls at 9 land borders with its neighboring countries: France, Luxembourg, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Denmark. The decision came after a series of deadly knife attacks in Solingen, in which the suspects were asylum seekers, with Interior Minister Nancy Faeser saying the move was aimed at curbing migration and to protect against the acute dangers posed by so-called Islamist terrorism and serious crime. Some say that the decision is driven by domestic political concerns, as it follows the far-right AfD party's historic success in 2 states at the regional elections. Although the announced border checks are due to be in place for an initial 6 months, many details such as the frequency and intensity of the identity document checks remain unclear. There are further complexities too. Around 240,000 people from neighboring countries commute to Germany for work, which means snarling traffic at borders, unavoidably disrupting trade, and affecting the economy. More importantly, the plan is made at the expense of angering other European countries and violating EU law. So, what would this decision signal about the future of EU unity? The borderless Schengen area was created in 1985 and has allowed free movement between 25 of the member states plus 4 other countries. The current European Commission has called it the beating heart of Europe, showing mutual trust and collaboration between the states in the continent. Yet, the tide seems to be turning, since Germany's decision comes from a country that occupies a key position as the Union's largest economy and goes against one of the central tenets of the EU. Officials and diplomats in Brussels expressed dissatisfaction with Germany's unilateral plan. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, for example, has criticized it as a systemic suspension of Schengen and a breach of European law. Neighboring Austria also slammed the announcement as unacceptable. The plan is not the first of its kind, though. The EU does allow temporary border checks in case of emergencies to navigate specific threats, while urging member states that the measures must remain strictly exceptional and proportionate. However, increasingly, these checks are being held without a clear justification, often as a result of the pressure from far-right rhetoric on immigration. Temporary controls along the borders with Poland, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland were also introduced last year by Germany. Besides Germany, some other Schengen members are currently operating controls on certain borders. Denmark, for example, cites terror threats related to the Russia-Ukraine and Gaza wars to carry out checks on arrivals from Germany. Austria is operating tightened checks for Eastern European countries. Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Italy are among the others citing security risks for internal border controls within the EU. Together with these increased use of border controls, Germany's latest decision hints that the EU is struggling to show the unity that Schengen had promised. By ramping up their internal border checks to tackle migration, it appears that European governments have started to turn their backs on each other. More importantly, it shows that countries have failed to address the real causes behind why people flee, such as wars, conflicts, and climate crisis.